Hey YouTube, Caleb Eubanks here again, doing another album review, and today's album review is next in line with the Kiss discography. I don't got that many left. I'm going to finish up the rest of their studio albums, then I'm going to go into their live albums and compilations and stuff like that. But of course, if you watch Psycho Circus Review, you know what's next. Sonic Boom. Right there. Right there. Anyway, I think you're going to be surprised what I got to say about this album. First, let's go ahead and start. As you know, Psycho Circus released in '98. This thing was released in '09. So, over 10 years later, they released another album, which is, as far as Kiss albums being released, studio albums, it's the farthest two albums apart, in time-wise. In years-wise, actually. Anyway, Sonic Boom, obviously. There's the inside right there. Paul, Gene, Eric, Tommy, who I think wears the makeup really well. He wears that the Ace makeup really cool. You could put this on anybody and they'd look like Peter Criss. Anyway, Sonic Boom. I really like this album. Sonic Boom is a great album. A lot of people were disappointed with this album and said it didn't live up to what it was billed to be. Well, I think you're wrong. I do. And that's just my opinion. It doesn't have to, it can be taken with a grain of salt, obviously. But I think that Sonic Boom is an amazing album, front to end. It is actually, out of the new era of Kiss, it is my favorite album. Probably from this is my favorite album that Kiss has put out since, I would say, Animalize. Yeah, Animalize. Animalize, I think, is a little bit better than this album. Actually, you know what? I take that back. This album is probably the best Kiss album that they've put out since Lick It Up. And I mean that. This is the best Kiss album that they've released since Lick It Up in 1983. As far as the musically and what they brought to the table with the artwork. A lot of people do not like that cover. I like that cover. I think it's a really cool cover. There was interviews with Gene Simmons whenever this album was getting ready to come out, and they were talking about what the cover was going to be like, and he said it was going to go back to a Rock and Roll Over theme. And guess what? That's what they did. They got the guy who did the artwork for Rock and Roll Over, and they came up with this. And a lot of people think it's cheesy. Well, guess what? If you think that's cheesy, then you think Kiss is cheesy, because that's a Kiss cover right there. This could have came out in the 70s, this cover right here, and nobody would have said anything. But the fact that it came out in 2009 and people saw this, they didn't take Kiss seriously. There are some things I don't like about this album, though. And I'm not going to start with the music first. What I don't like about this album, first of all, is what it came with. A lot of people bought this just for these two things and not the album. It comes with the Live in Buenos Aires DVD. It shows them playing live, which is a cool DVD. It is a really cool DVD. It also comes with Kiss Classics, spelled with a K, Classics with a K. And it's re-recordings of a lot of their famous songs like Detroit Rock City, Love Gun, Dues, Calling Dr. Love, Do You Love Me, Black Diamond. It's basically got all their classics re-recorded with Tommy and Eric and Gene and Paul in 2008-2009 era. The album I have right there, it's playing in there. A lot of people say that this is the highlight of this album. I gotta disagree. This is what makes the album cheesy. I don't know why Kiss, it seems like every time they come out with something new, they've got to package something with it. And what I don't understand is, how come they didn't do this just like they did Psycho Circus whenever they had the reunion tour in '96? Why didn't they just have the album and sell these separately? Now, I mean, I'm a Kiss fan, so I like these, and I think they're cool. This is cool to listen to, and this is very cool to watch. This is a really good DVD. But I wanted Sonic Boom in its whole. I wanted everything that it came with, and I wanted just the album. I didn't want it to be cheesy. I didn't want it to be over manufactured and put out there as a normal Kiss album. Like, and that's one thing that I don't like about this album. Obviously, it seems like it was way over manufactured as far as what they try to put in. You know, sell these separately. I mean, there's tons of Kiss stuff out there. Why can't they sell these separately? A lot of people think it's dumb for me to think that, but it's really not. I'm a fan of music first before I'm a fan of Kiss. And I think that it lowers the standards of a band when they do something like this. Especially a band like Kiss, who's been around for years and years and years. You know, the Rolling Stones, they wouldn't do this. They would not do this. Black Sabbath, they would not do this. If Rolling Stones came out with a new album, they would just release the album. And then a couple weeks later, a month later, they would release these separately because they would feel like it's not them to do this. It seems like Kiss is always looking for something to add, which is a good and a bad thing. And when it comes to putting out studio albums and adding it to them, I think that's a bad idea. But overall, I love this album musically. Modern Day Delilah, oh my gosh, Modern Day Delilah is a great song. I love that song. Russian Roulette, that's a great song. Never Enough, that's a great song. Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect, I could do without that song on the album. Stand, that's a great song. Hot and Cold is my favorite song on the album, right in front of Modern Day Delilah, which is my number 2. All for the Glory, I could do without that song. It seems like another anthem, which is Kiss. It seems like forever since Kiss came back in '96 with the original members, it seems like Paul and Gene have been trying to rewrite Rock and Roll All Night over and over again because that has been their biggest selling single on iTunes and everything like that. So, anyway, my third favorite song on the album is next, called Dangerous. Danger Us, I'm sorry. I love that song. I can't remember if they played it live or not, but I've heard it live before, either on YouTube or on a DVD or something. I've heard it live, and it was 10 times better live than it was on this album. I'm an Animal, that's a cool song. When Lightning Strikes, that is a really cool Tommy Thayer song. I really like that. Kind of his ode to Ace and what he did with Shock Me and, you know, Two Sides of the Coin and all the great classics he had. Say Yeah, that is my least favorite song on the album. It is, I don't even know why they put it on there. They could have just had 10 songs and it would have been fine. But instead they added number 11 right there, Say Yeah. And it really downplays the album and it ends the album in a horrible spot. Say Yeah, they play it live. They played it live the last Kiss concert I went to a while back. And it does not do anything for me. I hate that song. Produced by Paul Stanley. Co-produced by Greg Collins. Paul had a lot more to do with this, with the production of this album than Greg Collins actually did. Greg Collins actually did a lot of the mastering on it and the finalizing of the tracks and stuff like that. And you can tell that this is a Paul-produced album. Gene did not get really into the production of this album because they wanted their main idea for Sonic Boom was to go back to 1976 and get right in there in that period of between Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over and create something that they would have created back then. And I think musically they did. They really did create something that was an older Kiss sound, in my opinion. But you can tell that it's definitely produced by Paul. There's a lot of Paul songs. The audio Kiss Classics comes with Deuce, Detroit Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, Hotter Than Hell, Calling Dr. Love, Love Gun, I Was Made for Loving You, Heaven's on Fire, Lick It Up, I Love It Loud, Forever, Christine 16, Do You Love Me, Black Diamond, and Rock and Roll All Night. Those are some cool songs to listen to. You can tell the difference in the musicianship as far as Eric and Tommy playing on those songs. And Paul's voice on them, you can tell they really work with it. Because a lot of the voice tracks do not sound anything like the originals did. Especially on stuff like, you know, Detroit Rock City and Love Gun. That's the two that really stick out for me, that his voice has been very, very overproduced on. The DVD obviously is live in Buenos Aires. It doesn't have a track listing. There's not many songs on it that they play live, but it is a cool DVD. Comes with the real little booklet right here with the songs in it and the picture of them right there. It's a really cool album, I think. I bought this the day it came out at Walmart, and which is one thing I want to talk about this album also. That reminds me. This album was only released at Walmart, which is a travesty right there. I mean, travesty, tragedy, whatever you want to call it. The fact that this album was only released at Walmart really, really held back the sales of this thing. I'm pretty sure that to this day, you cannot buy this thing at any other store than Walmart. And every time I go to Walmart, I don't see this album. I don't know. I don't see this album a lot anywhere. I went to a local record store and I asked if they had it because I heard there was a copy of Sonic Boom that is just the album. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm going to try to find that because I want it. And, you know, this pretty much seems like a collector's edition to me. But I could never find it. And if anybody knows if there is a copy of Sonic Boom that is just in the plastic case with the cover, the back, and the actual just Sonic Boom album, let me know. I'd like to do some trading for that. I might even trade this for it. I don't know. But like I said, I really do like Sonic Boom. It's a great album. A lot of people don't give it enough credit. A lot of people knock it. A lot of people knock the cover. But, you know, opinions are opinions, and that's what makes music great. And that's what makes Kiss great. Sonic Boom is a really good album. Wish people would listen to it more often. Anyway, that's my review. I hope you like it, guys. Thank you for watching.